My next guest joining us in our Mike Briggs studios today at Central Valley Talk is Greg Steen. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
So, Greg, first off, give me your background.
Be glad to. So for 34 years, we've helped people navigate the long-term care maze in a crisis and do that without losing their life savings or their sanity. So we, here in Fresno, we have clients throughout the state and have been very blessed to be able to do that for that long. But most of our clients call us at a point of crisis. Nobody likes to think about it or talk about it until you have to, and so all of a sudden they find themselves having to, and they're faced with huge multiplied thousands of dollars in the cost of care and a lot of unknowns. Haven't been this way before, so where do we go? Who do we talk to? How do we get through the maze?
It's a very stressful time for not just the individual, but their families.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You do have some exciting things ahead, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. So Senior Care Advocates is really, it's pretty self-explanatory. We take seniors and their families, help them walk through the most difficult times, again, because, it's like anything else. If you ask me to paint your house, man, you're just going to be really, really disappointed, right?
Yeah, same
it's
here.
Just not something. Yeah, okay, good. So we got that in common.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all have those areas, and we need experts. And I think even more today, when the dollar means a whole lot more, and certainly our time, if we value that, means even more, to have the right information, accurate, up to date. And when people get into a long-term care crisis, it's just kind of like a blur. And so you're listening to doctors, social workers, discharge planners, case managers, nurses, your family, well-meaning friends, and most of them have, different information. And you're trying to figure out, where do I go and how do I get there? And so we're there because we've done it for a number of years to help people navigate that process. Sometimes even walk ahead of them and they follow, walk hand in hand, and we go with them, ask the questions that maybe they just don't know to ask because, again, haven't been that way before. And so, yeah, we're an estate planning firm. And so we've, for years, always helped people plan to protect their life savings. We all work so hard, and then you see it go in a matter of a few months or a couple years because it's so expensive to care for loved ones. In the U.S., less than 14% of all U.S. citizens have long-term care insurance, so we're really ill-prepared. So the only other option is to look at your checkbook, start writing checks, pull it out of your savings, and, we all know how long we can do that for if we're writing checks for $5-10 grand a month. So.
Talk a little bit more about the wide range of services, just in more detail.
Sure. So one of the things that we do, I haven't talked about yet, is that we help veterans get their benefits. Veterans have served our country. If you're out there, thank you very much for the time that you served our country and took care of us and protected us. But the VA, the Veterans Administration, is a great organization. Unfortunately, like a lot of government agencies, they're just not very proficient at certain things. And so our vets don't know about a lot of their benefits. And so there's service-connected and there's non-service-connected. They do a great job on service-connected, but on non-service-connected, they don't. And so a lot of veterans aren't aware that you can get help for in-home care. You can get help for assisted living costs, even skilled nursing. And so we help them get those benefits. We help them plan for those. We have a VA accredited paralegal we work with. We have awesome team that knows the rules, knows the regulations, and we get those. We're averaging 41 days right now. And typically, if you ask anybody, it's like 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, it was 2 to 3 years.
When you said the 41 days, I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Did you really just say that?
Yeah, you do it long enough and you kind of get it dialed in, hopefully, if you learn anything. So the other things that we do is, people are always asking, well, how do I pay for the care? Well, pretty much you're going to pay for the care out of your savings, or you're going to use long-term care insurance, or you're going to get on VA benefits, get some help from Medi-Cal. And there's just so many, misunderstood facets of all of those. So we help people understand the regulations, what the process is. We create strategies so people can save what they've worked so hard for. We implement those strategies so people can leave their survivor with something. And then we do the applications, we get them approved, and we keep them approved until someday they're just no longer with us. So, and that's huge because people just don't know. And again, you get so much conflicting information. It's like, where do I begin? And in fact, I brought along, if you don't mind, a couple actual questions, several, that we got on the phone, just kind of going through them.
Sure.
Because the thing I always ask people, if you're listening, is that, has caring for a loved one got you down? Is it something that has worn you out? Typically, it's 83-year-old mom caring for 85-year-old dad. And, I've never been a single mom, but I know it's a hard job, but I would guess that being a caregiver to your spouse is even harder. Typically, after 2 to 3 years, we see 30% or better of all the caregivers, they become a patient as well. It's very taxing, very overwhelming. So people need help, and they wait too long to get it. That's just normal. So some of the things we've heard is people will call in and ask us, who do we call for in-home care? Another one is, my parents own a home and they have some savings. Do we have any options? The answer is yes, obviously, in most cases. How do I find out if they qualify for VA assistance? Give us a ring. This is one we hear a lot. Our physician is recommending hospice, but they seem okay. Well, there's a reason for that. We can talk about that. A big one. What's the difference between, you see all these beautiful buildings. They look like like a cruise ship on land. They look like, a nice resort. Yeah. They might be an independent living or an assisted living. Well, what's the difference? There's a huge difference. Some have both of those. Some have only one. Some have memory care. Some have skilled nursing. How do you even know, and what does my loved one need? So we help assess all of that. This is one that unfortunately we get too often. The long-term care insurance company that we have denied our claim. Now what do? We have an expert. We help you get that. So another one that we do is we work a lot with elder law attorneys because people, again, have put off getting their legal documents. So if you're out there and you don't have a power of attorney for your finances and an advanced health care directive, I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm not an attorney, but our attorneys will tell you, do it, and do it now, because it's so critical. One day changes everything, and we know that. So people will say, my mom has been forgetting stuff, and I've noticed that, hasn't taken her meds, got lost when she was driving to the grocery store. What can we do? Well, that's one thing you need to do is get your legal documents in order. And it's just, it's wise planning, because I always tell people one day changes everything. My dad was 71, perfect health, marathon runner, cyclist, right? He's a stud. And, but had a stroke on a cruise. Yeah. 4 years later, had another one. It was different type, instant, onset of dementia. So you just never know. And so you got to be prepared, and thank God they were, my folks. I followed my dad in the business, and so he had it all done. But anyway, so those are some of the things that we've heard, and I'm sure people have questions. They just wondering, because it's so overwhelming to care for a loved one.
Yeah.
I don't care what age they are. it's a full-time job. And typically, 73% of the time, us men go first. So we leave our spouse, who we worked so hard for to care for and plan for, and we leave them on a limited income and with little or no savings. That wasn't what we dreamed about, right? It wasn't the golden years, so to speak. But anyway, that's some of that.
It's stuff to think about. We've got about a minute left. Anything else you wanted to mention before we go? Anything I missed?
No, you've been great. Thank
Thanks.
you. So, I just want to tell people, you know what? I hope that you realize there are answers and there's help. We're dealing with COVID right now, or whatever they call it, and 14 different variants of it. But the bottom line is, we're still here. We're helping. We're open. You know what? We've learned through this last year that we've had to adapt. Everything we do can be e-signed. I mean, everything can be done through email and the phone. We don't have to see you in person, but of course, we love to, because we love people. But whatever you need to do, you can get hope. You can get answers. We're still here. Done it for 34 years, and we're not going anywhere, Lord willing. And so we're here. We're available. And if you need to get some questions answered, know this: we have a free consultation. So if we can help you, we'll tell you. If we aren't the best fit, we'll let you know. And at the very least, we'll leave you better than we found you.
Greg Steen, Senior Care Advocates, and seniorcareadvocate.com.
There you go.
No S. 559-227-7322. That's your number?
That's our number.
Very good. All right. Thanks again for coming in.
Thank you, Austin.
Stuff
Appreciate
to
your time.
think about.
Absolutely.
Really, really is. So come
Very
back.
important.
All right. I'm Austin Reed. You're watching Central Valley Talk. We're going to take a quick break. We'll have more coming up in just a bit. Hang tight.